Hello, in this video we're going to look at section 9 of the Pearson test of English General B2 level. In section 9 you have a choice of two different kinds of writing. The one we're going to focus on in this video is the article. Now first things first, who is the article for? Well, think about yourself. When do you read articles? Usually you read articles for entertainment, but also you want to be informed. So a good article, a correct article that fulfills the response format, needs to be both of those things. It needs to be entertaining and it needs to be informative. And for some people that's a lot to ask for. Believe me, it's a lot to ask for of any native speaker. I've read a lot of pieces of writing that weren't entertaining at all, but they need to be quite entertaining here. So the target reader is somebody who somehow has paid to read this piece of writing. Either they've paid with money, buying a magazine where this is produced, or they've paid with their time. They could instead have read something else, or just done something else. They could have gone for a nice walk out in the sun. Is it snowing? It's May, it's snowing. Sorry, got distracted there. So let's take a look at an example task and we'll talk about what you have to do and how you can structure your article. So here's our example task. It says, learning English, what's the point? We are looking for articles about why people study English and the problems they face learning this amazing language. Best articles printed next month. So, that's our rubric. These are the instructions. We have to write between 150 and 200 words. The tolerance says you can go up to 220 maximum, but not past that, and you can go as low as 92 words. But don't do that. Don't go lower than 100, because you've got a lot to write about here, and you want to show the examiner how good your writing is. And sure, if you only write 100 words, that's fine, that's a formal requirement, isn't it? But you'll lose the possibility of other marks because you haven't left yourself any space to show great range, to show great coherence, the organization of your writing. So try to aim for about 200, maybe 180 words would be ideal. So we want to give ourselves some structure, and we can do that with paragraphs. So we've got this task, and I would say 4 paragraphs would be perfect. The first paragraph will introduce your article. It will have some way of telling the reader, hey, look at this. This is going to be interesting. So it's what we call a hook. Like when you're fishing. You can't go fishing just with your personality. I've tried. The fish just don't care. What you need is a hook, and the fish will bite it and you catch it. I don't know, I've never had a hook. Then the next paragraph will talk about the first content point, which here would be why people study English. And then the second content point, which is the problems they face. And then finally you could have a short paragraph that just ties things together so that the reader knows they've read to the end of the article. They'll be like, aha, I've nearly finished. I deserve some chocolate as a reward for reading so much. Something like that. As I mentioned in the last video, you should try to think with your head and not with your heart. You might look at this task and think, oh wow, yeah, I can't wait to write about this. I love studying English, especially with my amazing and handsome and desirable teacher. Sorry, distracted. And then they start writing so much about one thing, they forget about the other thing. Or they go crazy and they don't even finish. They go to 300 words and they write about one thing and then it's just a mess. So you have to write with your head. Your head is in charge. Your heart can be there to help a little bit, but use your head as much as possible. And if you don't know how to get started, think about you personally. Say it in your writing. Personally speaking, or speaking from my point of view. Then you introduce your idea. And when you're writing, think of an idea. Add some detail, add some information, and move on. And when I say add some information, what I kind of mean is make something up. Remember, it's not important if what you say is true or factual. What's important is the English. So you could make up numbers. You could say that 64% of the world's population is either studying English or has studied English in the past. Make something up like that. That's actually quite a nice hook, isn't it? That would be a good start for our little article. So you could write that. According to recent studies, over 64% of the world's population is attempting to learn English as we speak. There must be a reason why people want to do this. And that's the first paragraph finished. You move on to the next. Think about why people study English. So start with yourself. Speaking personally, I study English so that I can spend more time with my handsome, desirable English teacher. Sorry, did I do it again? So you talk about that. But then you've got the problems they face. However, learning English isn't a piece of cake. There are many, many idioms that you have to learn, and difficult pieces of grammar like present perfect, which doesn't exist in a lot of languages, and articles. Who understands articles? Even English people can't explain them. So that's the last paragraph. You just have to summarize things, put them all together neatly, and you've finished the article. If you can add some interesting vocabulary, change things by using conditionals maybe. For example, you could say, if so many people didn't learn English, what would they learn instead? How would we communicate with each other? You can ask questions of your readers. These are called rhetorical questions because you don't really want to know the answer. You've kind of got the answer already yourself. But it does make your article a little bit more interesting. So these are different ideas that you can use when you're putting together your article. Try to keep it interesting. Try to keep it informative. And remember the target reader, somebody who really wants to read your article and have fun doing it. And there we go. That's it really. In the next video, we'll have a look at the other part of the section 9 writing task, which would be the essay. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.